Hey everybody, this is Blue, and I am wanting to talk about professions next in our, attempt to build an interesting world. After we figure out what genre we're going to do and our settings, our technology, and all that, we need to figure out what professions fit those settings. I myself have, I think it's close to 80 professions. Yeah, I have 80 professions in my world. Role Master is different than D&D and all the third-party content. From my understanding of D&D, you have your base professions, and then you have, or what they call classes, and then you have a subclass. So you could be a fighter. Okay, that's your primary class, and then your subclass is some variant of fighter. Rollmaster doesn't do that crap, and that's why Rollmaster's better. So they have the variants, but they don't say you're a fighter with a subclass of this. Nope, you're this profession, and that's that. Now, my house rules allow for a character to have multiple professions. See, in Rollmaster, you do skill development, and so when you drop your character, you figure out how many development points they have, and then you spend your development points on various skills. And so if you guys watch how you spend, your development points. And, obviously each profession has different rates per skill. Because obviously a fighter is going to be good at combat and a wizard is going to be good at magic. And so you have to, have different costs, obviously. So what I have done is I can have a PC be one profession, two professions, or three professions. I think having them be one profession, unless it's like a mundane profession, is lame and limiting. But by combining, you can have somebody that is like an assassin war mage, and that would be awesome. You can also make them to be kind of contradictory, because you can have a medic farmer. You could have any type, really, because you can have a dragon lord farmer if you wanted to. So we're going to talk about, how it works out is if you have just a single profession, they get to use all their development points on this one skill chart. But then if they have two professions, like I'm saying, they will spend 60% of their development points on one profession and 40% on the other profession. You have to determine what your primary and your secondary profession. So if they have 60 development points, they would be spending 36 development points on their primary and 24 on their secondary professions. Now I'm allowing them to have three because, back in the day, you did whatever you could to survive. And so the difference there is that for your primary, you'd be spending 40% of your development points on your primary, and then 30% on your each on your two secondary professions. So you could have a dancer who wants to make that her primary, and so she'd spend 40% of her development points on the dancer profession list. And then she might be an entertainer, which is more broad, and so she would put 30% on that. And then she might be a medic, which is another profession, and so she'd spent her last 30% of her development points on that profession. This will create a more rounded character because, as I said in a previous video, I hate single-faceted characters. I think the more flexibility that you can put into it, the better. So, for mundane professions, these are professions where they do not cast spells. First one is an assassin. Well, that's pretty self-evident. Yeah, we all know what an assassin does. Then we got a barbarian who is very crude, rugged, not very well skilled in etiquette, but somebody you can depend on, right? A bounty hunter. Obvious. Builder. Now, think Bob the Builder with archaic tools, okay? He does not build anything magical. If you need your wagon fixed, he's the guy you talk to. Cavalier. This is a fighter with poise, etiquette, style. Combat engineer. This is somebody that builds and fires trebuchets, ballistas, who is all about siege warfare and such. If you are wanting somebody to design a fortress for you, this is who you talk to. They don't travel very often, but this would be one of those accompanying professions. So if you are having a war mage and a combat engineer, those two professions would benefit each other, and thus it's just, to me, I think a good combination. Next up is occultist. Okay, this is somebody that hangs around the temple. They don't cast magic. They could be thugs around there, you know, for those cults, you know, that try to pressure people into conforming to the rules. They are considered fanatics to a particular belief. A dancer. Okay, pretty self-evident. You know, this is somebody who likes to work bars and such and earns money by entertaining guys with their skill on the dance floor. A detective. Now, you know, again, pretty self-evident. This is somebody that investigates a situation. This is more of a crime and science type work. Okay, then the next one is entertainer. Whereas a dancer dances for entertainment, an entertainer is somebody that acts, plays musical instruments, maybe tells jokes and all that. A jester would be an entertainer. Explorer. This is somebody that packs up a few supplies and goes anywhere and everywhere. They are out for the thrill of learning something. Number 12 is a farmer. You know, this is somebody, again, that's not going to adventure very much, but this could be a cover profession. You could have a farmer necromancer. And, you know, some cultures might not like necromancers a whole heck of a lot. And so this necromancer would use farming as a cover while, you know, when nobody's looking in the barn, he is conjuring up some wicked stuff. Next is the free thinker. Just think about a conspiracy theorist, okay? This is somebody who is educated and is thinking beyond the box. He doesn't follow the lines. He could be an instigator. He could be thinking along the lines that there is this conspiracy that the king is doing this because of that. And so that could really add a lot of flair to a profession. And sometimes you need a little bit out of their leader to add a little pizzazz to a group. Number 14 is a gypsy. We all pretty much know what a gypsy does. They travel in bands. They dance. They do fortune telling. They do, They do some ritual magics, and so we all know what those are. Number 15 is a herbalist. This is the middleman in the medical profession. They do have medical skills, but they're more of the collecting and processing herbs and all that for your medics. Number 16 is a leader. This is somebody that is highly educated, that knows diplomacy, and can lead a group in solving situations. 17 is a martial artist. Again, this is somebody that would know martial arts and loves, hand-to-hand combat without the swords and all that, but is able to also use swords like a ninja. We got the medic. This is somebody that does not use magic to heal and help people. 19 is a minister. Just picture a non-magical cleric, and that's what a minister is. 20 is an outdoorsman. This is somebody that works as a guide. He hunts. He knows an area very well and will help people get through. Basically a non-magical ranger. 21 is a rogue. That's pretty self-explanatory. We all know what a rogue is. 22 is a scholar. A nerd. Somebody who thinks. He could be a teacher at an elementary type school. He could be the educator for a village. We all know what an educator is. A scholar is. Okay. 23 is a scout. Somebody that goes around observing and relaying what they've seen. 24 is a scribe. I think they're important. Scribe is very general. This is in my world, a scribe is somebody that records information. So a scribe can be a historian. So the scribe can go to where there's a battle, observe it, and write down all that information. And so if you are needing somebody that isn't trying to be super sneaky like a scout to get information, a scribe is a good character to have. Seaman, like a pirate. This is a generic person who works on boats, going from one port to another. Servitor is your servants, your butlers, your maids. If you are a lord, all your people that take care of you, those are servitors. You can have a servitor on an adventure because you could have like an uppity lord that's in your group, and this other PC is his servitor that has to do all the dirty work. Trigger warning for those who can't handle bad things. Next profession is a slave. Yes, slavery sucks. Slavery is wrong. However, this is a fantasy world, and where dark things happen, bad things happen to people. And if you are going to do character dynamic, character growth, the hero arcs and all that, sometimes people start off as slaves and improve themselves. For game dynamic, you can have somebody join the group as a slave, then they have only that one profession. But as they are part of the group and as they advance in levels, they could add a profession. So your first level, that person could be a slave, but on like the third level, they could be a slave warrior. A couple more levels pass, they could be a warrior slave. A couple more levels pass, and they could be a warrior. Okay? So this is a great way to add background and show it in the game. Number 28 is a Templar. Templar, as you know, is a religious warrior. This is basically an unmagical paladin. Number 29 is a thief. We all know what a thief is. Number 30 is trader. So here's your merchant. So you can have a merchant in your group, and he has the money. He's the one who sells and tricks people into buying crap. 31, a warrior. This is your fighter, the tank, as what they say. And the final profession for my mundanes is a witch hunter. Not everybody agrees with magicians. Some people do not trust magicians, and so there are some people that want to go out and rid the world of those who can cast magic. Witch hunter. So those are some of the ideas that I had for professions for my mundane world. You can add them. You can, if you develop your own skill sheets like I do, you can tailor make a character, a profession to fit your world. But a simple couple changes here and there, and all of a sudden you have a character that might not have fit your world to fit in your world perfectly. You get to be creative, and that's an awesome thing. So if you like some of these professions, let me know. And everybody, please take care. Be at peace.